Welcome to Pittsburgh, center Mike Panasiuk. So, this is not an official signing where the Steelers have signed a guy to their actual roster, but this is an invite to minicamp to try to give a former XFL player a chance to make the final roster. So, like I said, he's a center and he last played for the XFL this past season for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Mike Panasiuk was a guy the Pittsburgh Steelers previously had major interest in, and they actually hosted him for a visit in January and then also hosted him for a visit last July. So they invited him twice for an interview to try to make the team, but obviously he decided to get more playing time in the XFL and actually showcase his skills more than to being a backup or maybe not even making the team. So he played for Michigan State from 2016 to 2019 in college, and he actually was a defensive tackle and had 5 career sacks, racking up 10 tackles for loss during his senior year. But obviously, like I said, with the St. Louis Battlehawks, Mike Panasiuk, he switched to center and he mostly played that position. But he does have center and guard versatility and can be either role for the Steelers if he ends up making the team. And also, with the Steelers opting to move on from center J.C. Hassenauer, they really have a big hole at backup center. They have Mason Cole, obviously, and guys who could rotate there, but they don't really have a true backup center who's actually comfortable playing that position as their main position. They obviously have guys like James Daniels, who has played that position before, like Isaac St. Maulu, who has played that position before, and obviously Kendrick Green, who obviously didn't play very good in his time at center, but they do have guys who have played that position before, but that's not their main position. So the Steelers bring in Mike Panasiuk, that was his main position this past season, and he's actually a valuable backup as he was a captain for his team. So, like I said, the Steelers don't really have a backup center right now. The backup center is actually Brian McCullen, who the Steelers signed during training camp last season, but he spent most of his time in 2022 on the team's practice squad. So obviously, he's not really a big contributor for the Steelers team, and he was mainly a practice squad guy. And there's no shortage of options when it comes to this, because the Steelers also have brought in guys like Spencer Anderson and also Trevor Downing and now Mike Panasiuk to try to compete for the backup job. So this might also just be a guy who come in to compete with other guys to be that backup center because there is a hole in the team. Yes, the Steelers could come in with only one center and move guys around if needed, but you want a guy who's truly a backup and knows how to play the position, like J.C. Hassenauer. J.C. Hassenauer was a true center, but he could also play guard. But center was his main position. That's why he was so valuable. But for the Kendrick Green, for example, he came in from college playing guard, and then he had to switch to center. It wasn't very good. And now he's probably going to be off the team very, very soon. And James Daniels, he came in as a guard. He played a little bit center, but his main position is guard. So you want a guy who could be actually a true center backup, just in case if Mason Cole goes down with an injury. He didn't get injured last season, and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense line is very healthy. The only roster in the league that played every game together as an offensive line group, but he was banged up a little bit with an ankle injury throughout the year, but he pushed through it. So you want a guy just in case if injuries happen. So obviously Mike Panasiuk coming in, he's a guy who the Pittsburgh Steelers believe in because he did get interviewed by the Steelers twice, and they did bring him to potentially sign him before. And at the XFL Combine, he had 6'4". That's how tall he was. He weighed 300 pounds, and is a guy who's a big guy and obviously played defensive line and now has played offensive line, so he knows the leverage at both positions. He knows what defensive line are trying to do because he has played that position before. And now let me just go over another guy the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited to their minicamp to try to make the team. They invited another center from North Carolina, AT&T Center, dacquari Wilson, to minicamp. Let me just go over a little bit about him before I end this video, because this was a little bit a while ago. This was done on May 8th, so the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited him to their rookie minicamp to try to make the team. dacquari Wilson, he's a center of North Carolina AT&T. So he didn't really compete well at his combine, so he fell all the way out of the draft. He stands at 6'2", and he weighs very little for an offensive lineman, 293 pounds, and his offensive combine was not very good. He tested very poorly at a 5.5 second 40-yard dash, 26.5 inch vertical, 8.33 cone drill. And also, he has 34-inch arms. And actually, those numbers got way worse at his actual pro day instead. those numbers got worse from a 5.5 second 40-yard dash time to a 5.63 40-yard dash time. And his broad jump went even lower as well. So those couple of weeks where he had time off to try to get better, his stats in those areas actually dropped. But the Steelers obviously bring them for more competition. This is not like a major video where the Steelers have signed a guy and you know he's going to make the team and you know, okay, he's going to be our backup center. But this is more a video to give you an idea of who we're bringing in, what guys we're looking at for the Steelers team, and obviously where they believe there's holes to be filled, and obviously they believe that there's holes to be filled at the backup center position. So they bring in another guy at center, and let's see who makes the team. They have many battles to go on right now. Obviously, like I said, Mason Cole is probably going to come in as a starter, but now there's going to be plenty of backup center roles and battles going on in minicamp. So let's see who makes the team. But like I said, Dacquari Wilson, he's a very athletic guy. He didn't show that in his combine, but on his tape, his college tape, he was actually pretty athletic. He could reach the outside, very good, and he was very good on making calls for the offense because he was a center, so he's able to adjust the offense a little bit from the center position. So he was showed a little bit at center for the Steelers to bring them, but he wasn't too good at his combine to be able to make the NFL draft and get drafted by a team. So let's see if he can prove himself more at the next level as an undrafted guy coming in with a shoulder on his chip. So, with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing in former XFL player Mike Panasiuk and them having interest in him before? Do you believe he has a chance to make the roster, or do you believe this is more of just a camp bodies? And also, do you believe Dacquari Wilson coming in from North Carolina, do you believe that he has a chance to make the roster? And how do you feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers signing him? Not signing him, inviting him to rookie minicamp. Out of the two, who do you think has the best chance of making our final roster? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you like serious content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I'll be covering all of free agency. I covered it all. I covered all the draft, every draft analysis you want to see of a player who got drafted by our team, even the undrafted guys after the draft where we signed a couple of 7 players. If you want to see all those draft profiles on the channel, go watch them, and everything in the future. News, rumors heading into training camp. Training camp's just right around the corner. Mini camp's just right around the corner. And just know when those rookies go in to compete and everything that happens throughout the whole season, I'm on it. So, stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.